Good morning, it's me, Waddles. So you found yourself in the sticky situation of looking for the trial chambers. Where do you start? Well, or I guess you just wanted to watch this video. Hey, thanks. Well, today, friend, I've got you. Over the course of today's video, we'll be taking a look at 5 of the very best ways to locate the trial chambers in Minecraft 1.21. We'll talk other tips and tricks and rank them all too. Let's go. So for each method today, I came up with clever names. Method number 1 goes by the name, the old guess and dig. The most beautiful thing about method number 1 is the fact that this requires almost zero preparation at all. Like, you could make a brand new world, chop down one tree, and get going with this one. Armed with nothing more than a shovel, a dream, and my sheer willpower, the beast of my intuition, I'm gonna find a random spot inside of the world. And by the way, this stuff is in parity on Minecraft, Java, and Bedrock. That'll mean that every method I show you today should work no matter what version you're playing. Anyways, we find a random spot that feels like there would be a trial chamber, stand in the middle of 2 blocks, and start digging down. Then realize you forgot a pickaxe. So the thing with the trial chambers is that, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the rarest structure in the world, and it can generate pretty much anywhere. With that in mind and a superior gut within you, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to pick a random spot in your world, start digging down, and run smack dab right into one of these things. Maybe. Look, it's one of the methods of all time, alright? Right next to my little gremlin head statue, I went ahead and built us a ranking chart. The best methods we'll put over here. The methods that are still like a method, but maybe not so great, we'll put all the way down at the other end of the chart. Method number 2 goes by the name of Big Cave Caving. Ha, this is fun. So for this method, first things first, inside of your world, prepare yourself for a big cave adventure. That'll mean start by gathering all of the supplies you like to bring down into the caves with you. After you've done it and gotten yourself armor, weapons, and definitely absolutely some torches, it's time to find ourselves a big cave. So one thing to know about the trial chambers is that in world generation on Minecraft Java 1.21 and coming to Bedrock in 1.21.10, the chambers attempts to avoid generating inside of the deep dark biome. That'll mean if you're in an area that has big mountains, I mean, it could work, but maybe you'd be better off somewhere else. Not that it'll be impossible to work there, it just might be easier elsewhere. After a little bit of exploration, though, I found an area that isn't too mountainous. Next thing's next, I'm going to go ahead and go out into the world and find a cave. Then I'm going to move down into that cave and get as far down as quickly as possible. You see, the other thing with trial chamber generation is the fact that this thing is going to generate right around Y0 inside of your world, across, well, basically any biome. That'll mean if you're looking for the trial chambers, don't waste your time caving up high in the stone range. It cut right down to Y0, where the deep slate fades in. Now, another thing to know with trial chamber generation is the fact that it can go up and it can go down. However, it seems like with the trial chambers generating right around Y0, from my experience, more often than not, the structure is encased in a little bit more deep slate than it is stone. That means once you find Y0, if possible, go like a little bit below it. So once you made it to the right range, inside of a big cave, it's time for a little bit of big cave caving, one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft. Move around down inside of the caves until you can find these nice, large, wide open ones where you can cover like a lot of land really, really quickly. After that, I mean, just do your caving thing. Run around inside of the cave and maybe pick up some of the tuff for those brand new beautiful tuff blocks. Absolutely watch out for things like creepers. No, 100%. While you're down here, take a little bit of time and mine up the ores as well. In Minecraft, or widening the scope to IRL as well, I feel like there's this spoken rule of when you're looking for something, you're just never gonna find it, basically. So one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give you when looking for the trial chamber is to not look for the trial chamber. While you're doing all of this mining, pay close attention to the cave generation that's happening around you. If you find anything that is, well, like a tough of bricky or maybe even coppery, well, great news. This stuff doesn't exist in world generation at all, and if you find this, say poking into your cave, maybe on the wall or something, or even just cutting straight across into the middle of the cave, well, you done it. You found yourself a trial chamber. Next up, moving on, method number 3. For our third method today that is called sus wall mining. Well, get all of the things that you had for the last method and, well, maybe honestly, a little bit of night vision as well. Honestly, even for the last method, night vision potions will help huge time. So down here inside of a big, large cave that is very deep down, I'll drink a night vision potion and look around at the wall and kind of how they generate. Now, normal Minecraft cave generation, well, Minecraft generation that is a little bit more standard, if you will, is something like that over there. A wall that curves out, kind of curves back in, goes up and down, you know how it goes. Also, something like this, maybe a circular formation, random holes in the generation, maybe something like, say, stalactites, stalagmites hanging up and down. You know, just the generation that they added to Minecraft in 1.18. On the other hand, a generation that is a little bit more unusual looking, maybe say something like that over there, that is oddly and suspiciously rounded, it sticks straight out into the cave and seemingly ignores the natural cave formation of this area that kind of like curves up, curves out, you know how it goes? Well, that's very suspect. All right, now for this one, a little bit of a spoiler alert, but there is a trial chamber inside of the wall right there. You see, one of the things the trial chamber structure will attempt to do occasionally when it generates is fully block itself in, so it stays a little bit more hidden. However, when it fully blocks itself in, it kind of just puts these giant round land masses around itself. It's very strange looking. And these land masses get even more easy to spot when everything is nice and bright. Like if you have night vision, that really sticks out like a sore thumb. That all means when you're mining inside of 1.21 and beyond, there's a brand new thing that you need to do. You need to look out for weird land formations like this, and if you find one, dig a couple blocks back into it. Now sometimes, depending on the positioning of the trial chamber, it might be a little bit down or a little bit farther back. One thing that I can say is if you have one of these rounded generation pieces, well, usually that's rounded all the way around a room. The top of this rounded thing is up there, which means probably the trial chamber, instead of being straight off into this rounded chunk, might be a little bit in and downwards. Find your weird looking chunk of land, start digging in. Sometimes it's like 3 blocks within. Other times you might have to dig a little bit farther, maybe 10 to 15 blocks. So that's the thing, these two methods, they kind of go perfectly in hand. Sometimes maybe you're big cave caving and you just run smack dab right into a trial chamber, that's good news. But while you're inside of the big cave caving, pay attention to suspicious looking walls and dig them out. For our next method, it's time we do a little bit of mining. Veterans may remember back in the olden days of Minecraft, you would mine for diamonds right around Y0. That has changed, definitely. But nowadays, there is definitely something that you could find around Y0. First things first, get your branch mining supplies hot to go. After that, head down to somewhere between Y0 and Y-20. Down here in that range, when branch mining, you're bound to find tons of gold. In fact, actually one of the best spots for branch mining for gold inside of Minecraft 1.21. Another thing you'll probably find a lot of is lapis. You might find a tiny bit of redstone and a little bit of diamonds as well, but that's all kind of besides the point. We're after the trial chambers today, right? So check out this picture. It's a picture of a square. That's kind of how a Minecraft world generates. You see, a Minecraft world is built up of chunks. That's a 16 by 16 block area. The trial chambers kind of follows this whole chunk generation thing in generation. You see, pick an area of chunks, 32 by 32, anywhere inside of your world. Well, the trial chambers is guaranteed to 100% of the time generate within that 32 by 32 block area inside of your world. There will be at least one trial chamber randomly placed in that zone. That means, assuming your world is newer, like you generated or made it in 1.21, branch mining in an area, you could easily cross a whole lot of chunks pretty quickly. If you're already trying to, say, stock up on deep slate, maybe find patches of tuff or just other ores like gold, well, consider branch mining in between Y0 and Y-20. You never know, you might be surprised at what you end up finding. Little branch mining pro tip for you here. Check out this pair of pants right here with Swift Sneak 3. If I put these pants on, put a trapdoor right here, open the trapdoor, close the trapdoor, do all of that, and I am now in crawl mode. Now check this out. If I was crawling with Swift Sneak 3 leggings on and mining a hole, well, because Swift Sneak 3 increases your sneaking speed, it also increases your crawling speed. That means if you're doing this whole branch mining method to find the trial chambers, pair Swift Sneak 3 with maybe a pickaxe a little bit faster than this one, and you can cover a whole lot of land really, really quickly. When it comes to our trial chamber finding methods today, I would say this is a good way to find the trial chamber, but really only if you're trying to stock up on extra blocks. Now, before we get to the cream of the crop method today, an honorable mention or two. If you are playing inside of your world with cheats enabled, looking a little something like this flying around, well, maybe consider just using the old-fashioned locate command. Locate structure, trial chamber. Send that to chat, then you'll get a trial chamber sent over to you. Tap this coordinate on Java, change that squiggle line to a 0, flip into spectator, and you should be just about right at the trial chamber. Another beautiful tool for finding the trial chamber is none other than Chunkbase. First things first, switch your version to whatever version you are. After that, using the Seed Map app, I'll link it down below, scroll in and look for this symbol right here. That's going to be a trial chamber symbol. If you tap this copy button right there, back in game, it's on your clipboard. Just paste it in chat. Ah, yes, it's not even close. So the best way to find the trial chamber structure inside of Minecraft 1.21 begins with our local friendly village. Over at this village, armed with nothing more than a cartography table, we can go ahead and get started. Inside of this village, hopefully somewhere, right there, is an unemployed villager. I drop the table down, give it a second. The buddy should walk right over and take the job. Now after this, I'm gonna need to go out into the wild. You see, it wouldn't be any fun if the villager just had the trade from the start. So in my world, I'm gonna need to run around and find two things: patches of sand, and then I'm gonna need to dig them up. I'll need some fuel as well, and I will also need a sugarcane. The fastest way to find the trial chamber involves a couple of villager trades. For the first trades that we're gonna need to run, including the levels, we need about 2 stacks of paper. For the next trades, we'll need about 2 stacks of glass paints, technically less. And finally, last but not least, we will need a compass for one of the trades and a little bit of emeralds as well, but there's an easy way to get the emeralds. Find a village, make a cartographer, go find these other supplies, walk back over to the cartographer, and take this paper trade. This is going to be the first one. We're going to go ahead and take this trade as many times as we need to level the villager up. With 2 stacks of paper, we should have just enough to level it. After that, the purple particles, we slide back in and we have this trade or this trade right here. Considering the fact that we have glass panes inside of the inventory, we'll go ahead and go with that one. And we'll take that trade as many times as we need to level it up. That should end us up with 11 emeralds so far. After that, if we're lucky, slide back in, and yes, we're lucky. Just like that, a Trial Explorer map at the Journeyman level. The only level that it can exist at. Armed with our compass and all of the emeralds from the previous trades that we've taken, we can go ahead and buy ourselves one trial chamber map, spin around slowly, and take a look. Just like that, the trial chambers, I now learned that it's so close. The structure is so common that it feels like 90% of the time, it'll be like right on the map or super close nearby. Now, the tragic thing about this trade is the fact that it will only pop up at the Journeyman level, which means if your villager didn't have it at that 3rd level, then you need to start over again. At that 3rd level, according to the wiki, you'll either have the Woodland Explorer map or the Chamber map. This method is the built-in way to locate the trial chamber. If you have access to villagers, 100%, this is your way to go. Now, by the way, once you find the map, actually working your way over to the trial chamber is pretty straightforward, especially if you're on the map. Look at the map. Using your pointer icon, spin around until that icon points towards the trial chamber one. After that, walk in a straight line until you're over the icon. Now, if you're off of the map, like let's say on the bottom of it, then you need to head north. If you're on the top of it, you need to go south. Figuring out your direction, you could either use the sun, it rises in the east and sets in the west, or on Java F3 screen, it'll tell you which direction you're facing. Eventually, once you make it over to the icon, it's time to start digging straight down. It's time for you to go back to the start of the video, like restart it over, watch it over again, and use that digging method that I showed off at the start. For this one, it's not even a competition. The trial chamber map is by far the #1 way to find a trial chamber inside of your Minecraft world. I'd like to send a huge thank you to my channel members and to my patrons, Ground Crazy May, Medical Boomstick, Fire Dragon 19, Steve M, and Nick C, who helped me make content like this. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Tap like and subscribe. Is there anything else you'd like me to do this for in 1.21? Maybe copper or whatever. Comment it down below. On to the end card is a playlist I think you'll enjoy and a special video curated for you. This has been me, Waddles. I will see you all tomorrow.